Silk Road by Nick Middleton. Introduction of the lesson. The story is written by Nick Middleton. This chapter is about the narrator's journey from slopes of Ravu to Mount Kailash. To complete the Kora, to bid him farewell, Lamo gave him a long-sleeve sheepskin coat. He hired Seaton's car for his journey and took Daniel along to escort him to Darchan. Silk Road summary. The protagonist wanted to go to Mount Kailash to complete the Kora. He hired Seaton to drive him up to Mount Kailash as a farewell gift. Lamo gave him a long-sleeved sheepskin coat. He took Daniel as his companion till Darchan. When they started the journey, Seaton took a shortcut to the southwest, which was a direct route to Mount Kailash. They had to cross high mountain passes to reach their destination. Seaton assured him that it would be no problem if there would be no snow. They crossed through few gazelles, a herd of wild asses and shepherds tending the flocks. When they reached the hill, they passed dark tents which were home for nomads. He saw a Tibetan mastiff standing outside the tent as a guard. These mastiffs ran after his car as he reached near the tents. These dogs had large jaws. As soon as they entered the valley, they witnessed snow-capped mountains with rivers flowing which were blocked with ice. When they were riding through the hill, the turns became sharper and roads became bumpier. Seaton was driving in third gear. The protagonist could feel the pressure in his ears. He held his nose, snorted to clear the congestion. He checked his wristwatch. They were at 5210 meters above sea level. They reached their first hurdle, which was a road filled with snow. Seaton threw dirt on the snow and drove carefully on that road. They resumed their journey. The protagonist felt his head was hurting. He took a few sips of water from his water bottle. They were still climbing up the hill. They reached at 15 meters above sea level. They stopped again, and this time the fuel tank hissed when Teston unscrewed the top as the petrol was expanding due to low atmospheric pressure. Seaton told them not to smoke around it. Soon in the afternoon around 2 o'clock, they stopped for lunch. The protagonist's headache was gone by now. By late afternoon, they reached a small town called Hor. They reached the east-west highway again. It was the old route from Lhasa to Kashmir. Daniel got off the car and took a lift to Lhasa. Their car had a few punctures which worried Seaton. He got them fixed, and the protagonist waited at a local cafe of Hor. While having a glass of tea, he found Hor a miserable place. After a while, Seaton reached to him and they resumed their journey again. At night around 10:30 p.m., they stopped at a guest house in Darchan to spend the night. The protagonist got ill and suffered from nose congestion due to the change in altitude and cold weather. He stayed awake all night. Next morning, Seaton took him to Tibetan Medical College where he consulted a Tibetan doctor who gave him a 5-day course medicines in a brown envelope. After taking a full day of medicine, the protagonist was feeling good. Seaton left him there after assuring his health condition. The protagonist was staying at Darchan. That place had a general store where Chinese cigarettes, soap, and other things were available. In the afternoon, the men gathered at a shabby table to play pool every day. Women would wash their hair in the narrow stream. Darchan had one problem. It had no pilgrims, according to the local people. In the peak season of pilgrimage, the place would be filled with travelers. He met a person in the Darchan's only cafe. His name was Norbu, who was a Tibetan working in Beijing at the Institute of Ethnic Literature of Chinese Academy of Social Science. He came to Darchan to complete the Kora just like the protagonist. He was fat and found it difficult to walk. The protagonist decided to go on the pilgrimage with him. They hired yaks to carry their luggage. Norbu finally said it is not possible for him. While he collapsed across the table and laughed hilariously, his tummy was also too big. Don't leave without giving a like to this video. And please subscribe to my channel to support my work. As always, thanks for watching. Bye bye.